Let's take a look. Pro Football Focus, tiers and rankings for the defensive lines for all of the teams in the NFL. Tier 1, elite. They have the Rams, the Commanders, the Packers, the Steelers, the Buccaneers, and then the 49ers. You go all the way down to Tier 4. Great edge duo, weak interior. And they have Raiders at 19, Browns at 20, Cowboys at 21. Fair, Quincy? I mean, the one thing is they're playing young guys on that interior, so they don't have a track record.
Yeah, and, I'm just going off of kind of faith here because last year we did a lot of screaming about this interior defensive line and ended up being fine. Not great by any means, but fine, right? And I think it'll probably be similarly here, right? I think Perrion slides in nicely. They're taking a gamble on Taven Bryant to be one of those guys that steps up. Maybe Tommy Togiai steps up. Maybe we finally see the Jordan Elliott we've been hoping to see for the last 3 years, right, this year. But yeah, you're gambling there on the inside. And I know how PFF does this. They're going to do it based on their grades. They're going to do it based on like weighing each individual piece equally. But that's not how defensive lines work. When you got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, you're going to have one of the better defensive lines in football because that's just how the defensive line works. You're just going to overpower people at some point, right? It's why Pittsburgh never has a bad defensive line because they have great edges with two great defensive line players. When you have that, a lot of the inside stuff can get figured out a lot easier. It's why it got figured out last year, right? Jadeveon and Myles were just playing at a high level, makes that a lot easier to figure out, right? It's like when the Cavs had Kyrie, Kevin Love, and LeBron. Made it a lot easier to get productive minutes out of J.R. Smith, right? You know what I mean? Like if having that amount of talent just makes other role players' lives easier. And that's ultimately what it's going to be. By the way, that championship Cavs team did absolutely start J.R. Smith. And I don't think people remember that. I don't think people think about J.R. Smith. NBA Finals, NBA champion starter. That just hit me. That really just hit me. All right, but nonetheless, yeah, it's going to make it easier. I get why PFF does it this way, but it's not necessarily going to be what shows up the most, right? Because if the Browns are the 20th best defensive line in football, that's ridiculous when they have Myles Garrett. Yeah. Just Myles Garrett alone puts you in the top 15. Yeah. That just is what it is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you as far as Clowney and Garrett.
They got the Cowboys at 21 with Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? You got to factor this in. They also famously put TJ Watt on the second team on PFF behind Max Crosby. Sometimes PFF be doing their thing. Sometimes you just got to take it with a grain of salt.
Fair enough.